here we have a toy spot on Wolverine and the X-Men Wolverine. I had just picked this figure up yesterday. I happened to go to the Toys R Us, my local Toys R Us, and I was just walking around, and I noticed that they had these figures. I had seen them before, and having had such good luck with the DC Universe figures, the 3.5 inch, I decided to pick this guy up, kind of see if he was around the same idea. Just have a look on the back here. The figures in the wave of this series are Logan, Wolverine, Cyclops, Magneto. You've got Iceman, and you've got Beast. There's the packaging. By the way, I also do like the packaging. It's different than other X-Men packaging. Usually you've just got a big X, and so it's nice that they've got Wolverine at the top there. Before I open this guy up, and this guy actually is still sealed, before I open this guy up, I just want to comment or reiterate what I had mentioned about with the Superman figure, the 3.5 inch. This guy at Toys R Us in Canada was $10.99. Keeping in mind, this is about a 3.5 inch figure, and you're charging $10 for him. They also had Spectacular Spider-Man figures. They had some the deluxe animated Transformers there, and those were all about $10 too. $10 is fine for a Transformer, but $10 for this, just whether the figure is nice enough, but just $10 is a lot to ask. I don't want to sound like a cheap ass here, but I don't know. Just maybe $5, $6, like I said about the Superman, would have been nice, but just $10 seems like a lot. But there you have Spider-Man Spider-Man. How about Wolverine? There we have Wolverine in his packaging. What we'll do is we'll open this guy up and we'll have a look at the figure. And so here we have Wolverine out of his packaging. Then one of the things he comes with is a poster, which seems to be an ongoing trend, at least with the Marvel figures, is that they come with like a little picture, little description here. It's not bad. He also includes claws. I know this was one of the concerns that, or one of the problems that a lot of collectors had with these figures, was the fact that the claws are separate and not on the figure itself. Yeah, they had mentioned that it just looks like he's holding those claws rather than having them retracted. I'm not too upset over it, because there's only two ways you usually get a Wolverine. You either have him with the claws out, or you have it where the figure itself, the claws go in and they can retract. But it usually means that you have to give up something in the arm, or there's a big lever or something like that in the arm area here. But I don't mind the fact that the claws are separate. It's not too bad. In the way of the figure, though, it's a nice figure. I will say this though, if you ever decide to pick this guy up, and the Wolverine and the X-Men figures are the worst for this, is you have to be careful on the paint application. The Wolverine especially, I went through about 8 or 9 of these at the store, and by going through them, I was just going through the pegs there, and the worst part is this white here in the eyes. There was Wolverines where the white was up here, it was down here. He had white in his nostrils. He had white in the middle of his nose, and the other eye was over here. This was the nicest of the bunch, but a bit sloppy in the way of paint application. This one turned out pretty good, although would have been nice maybe if the eyes were a little bit better. It still looks like the paint's off, especially on this side here. It looks like the paint's running into his nose. But I do like the look of the figure. In the way of articulation, his head does turn. It doesn't have any ball joint at all. It just turns left and right. The arms have a joint that you get a lot of movement in the arms. The only thing they didn't do, and I'm surprised, is they didn't have a joint in the elbows. As a result, this is just all one solid piece. He also has a ball joint in his waist, which is the biggest problem I have with this figure, is it's extremely loose. And this is the first time I've opened him up. As you can see, he's got that same problem that the Spectacular Spider-Man Venom had. He's very loose in this area, but he's got a good range of movement in the legs and in the knees. But even the knees already feel like they're starting to get loose. And like I said, this is the first time I'm opening the figure. The feet have a little bit of articulation as well. And we've got a nice little number here. Don't ask me why. But there you have it. I guess they make it loose so that it's part of his gimmick, if he has one. The claws that I was mentioning can actually fit. I want to get this focused here. Can actually fit in his hands. Now, I think the picture, if I'm looking at this right, I think the picture's got him like this. Now, if anyone looking at this picture probably would say to themselves, well, gee, look, that doesn't even look like he has claws retracted. It just looks like he's holding them. And they might pass on it for that reason. I found actually you can take the claw and rotate it up. Rotate it up here, like that. And it does look like he's retracting them. So it isn't too bad, even though, you know, you've got the chunk of the extra part of the accessory here. But at least it looks like he's retracting his claws, so it's not too bad. I mean, the figure does look pretty good with his claws in, and I do like the fact you can take him out. I just wish maybe they could have colored this differently, maybe the same color as his glove. But that aside, it's a nice figure. I am glad that I picked him up. It's just a shame that his waist is so loose. Ugh. It just would have been nice if that... Maybe not all the figures are like this. Maybe I've just got the bad one here, but... I would get this figure. I would recommend him. The only thing my only concern with the line, and it's probably the reason why I won't... Here, I'm just going to put him back here. The only reason why I might not get the other figures in the wave, and I saw this in the Cyclops. I was actually this close to getting the Cyclops, but he's got that horrible pre-posed sculpt. His legs don't bend. Like, whereas the Wolverine, the Logan, the Magneto all have legs with the joint in the knees and everything else. When you come to like Iceman and you've got Cyclops, these don't bend, which is kind of a bit of a hindrance and disappointing. That might be a reason why I won't get those other two figures, but I might still get these two. But there you have it, though. Definitely a nice figure, to say the least. Again, I'm not happy with the price point, but I guess there's not much you can do about that. There you have a toy spot on Wolverine and the X-Men Wolverine. See you guys next time.